I hope you'll pray for me. I've been here in a few weeks, and I've been sick myself, and as a lot of our members are. I hope you treasure up everything you've been listening to, because it's just been the gospel. It's been the truth, and it's been everything that I believe. The truth will set you free. If you'll believe on Jesus Christ and He is the truth, He will set you free. I hope you'll pray. I don't know how to start. Don't know how to. Paul said, I don't know how to go in or out among such a great people. And God's people are a great people. God's people is the greatest people that's ever been upon this earth, Ron. We read that, and I do realize that every man that's ever stood where I stand isn't of God. They've been men that that stood falsely, Brother Jerry. Yes, I can read in the record where a man, one time, he sent 2 men out to spy out a land.
What about that? Listen.
And those men went out there and they come back and they said, no way. We can't have that land. Can't obtain that land. There are giants over there. The walls are so high. There's giants. We can't do it. But then a little bit later we read where he sent 2 more men out, Brother Randy. These men came back and said, yeah, we can take that land.
We can possess it.
We can have it. You see, there's men that tell you tonight that there's a land called heaven, Jason, and there's some men will look at you and look at your past. Yeah. Look at me or look at Ron or look at any of us here, Brother Randy, and say you can't obtain that land, you see. But I'm telling you tonight, through Jesus Christ, and when He cleans you up, you're clean. When he cleans you up, you are a fit subject. There's men tonight will tell you, you just can't go, you can't pray. I'll tell you tonight, you pray. You pray. I believe in an all-wise and I believe in a merciful God. I believe that a God that will hear. As that Brother Randy already preached this tonight, and I'll just say a few words, and I hope the Lord will bless me tonight. But I read where Brother Randy already said where Jesus got on a little boat and He went over to a wild man. I guess maybe the wildest man over in that area there. But Jesus already knew about that man. He already knew he wouldn't even wear clothes. He already knew where he was hiding at. He knows where you're at tonight too. He is an all-wise and merciful God. And He knows tonight, I'll go a little bit farther tonight. He knows because you are here tonight. And if you want to seek Him, you can find Him. You can find Him. But I believe you have to lay down everything. The writer said you have to quit doing the things of the world and cling to the things that are of God. You see, there is things here that we have to lay down here. And there's things when God comes in our life, then He makes us dead to those things. And we look back at those things and with pity and sorrow, Brother Jerry, and disgust within ourselves that why we, after we tasted the goodness of God, why would we want to go back to what we was? Why would we want to do that? We won't, you see. If you got Jesus Christ down in your life, all the old things has passed away. And behold, all things are new, Brother Delbert. Aren't you glad when you laid your hand in His hand? Aren't you glad that you said, Lord, Forgive me, God. I read where he went to a cross. He didn't have to. He came down here and he died to make a way for men and women to get to him. You see, that's how much love he had for us. A man that knew no sin, yet he took upon himself. They hung him on a cross and he died there for you and I. But I'm just like Brother Randy and Brother Jerry wrong. I don't believe that he stayed in the grave. I don't believe that his soul just floated out. I believe on that third morning, Brother Jerry, he got up out of the grave. And I believe as them little girls met him there, they didn't know him until he spoke to him. I felt him, but when he spoke to me, I knew it was him. Just like they was when he spoke his name, when they said Mary, when they began to say, oh, Mary, she knew, she thought he was the gardener. But when he spoke her name, when he spoke my name, I knew who he was. It was Jesus Christ, the same one when old Saul was going down the road. I thought he was doing right too. I thought I was doing right one time by going to church with Dad. I thought that's all I needed to do. But just like this man was, had warrants in his pocket, going down the road, thought he was doing right. But I believe this man, maybe he remembered a few days before. You know that old man, Stephen, I was standing there, maybe Saul said, I was standing there holding the coats. I seen him pick up the stones and hit this man. This man stood so humble. I seen this man look toward heaven and say, oh, Jesus, lay it not to their charge. No wonder he's beginning to say, oh, I seen this man's face glow. I seen him look into heaven. Oh, I can see old Saul going down that road, and a light shining to him, and the light began to shine to him and say, oh, Saul, what are you doing, son? In my words, where are you going to? Oh, who is it, Lord? It's me, Jesus Christ, whom thou persecutest. Run. That man got something a few days later there. I believe when he went down there, the light shined to him, didn't it? I believe he told Saul, he told him where to go, didn't he? He told him what to do, didn't he? And he began to go down there. They was afraid of him, Ron. Some men, you know, after God changed his name to Paul and he began to preach, do you know that some men didn't want him around? The men that walked with Jesus, Ron, didn't want him around. They was afraid of him. They was afraid of him. Why? They knew what he was before. They knew what he used to do. No doubt, I know when I gave my hand, when I felt like God forgive me, Ron, no doubt, the word went out and many said he won't last.
That's right.
He won't last.
Same thing about me.
Same thing about you and same thing about Brother Jerry and all these men. He won't last. I know him. I know what he used to do. No doubt they whispered that through themselves, Brother Delbert. But I'm here to tell you tonight, if Jesus Christ has come into your life, you are no longer your own keeper, but you're kept by the power of God. He dwells in our hearts. And if He is in there, then we're no longer of the world. We're in the world, but we're not of the world. What's that mean? Our hopes and our thoughts is beyond this world here. I want you to understand that when Jesus Christ saves you, you're saved. Amen. You have a witness down in your soul. You have a witness down in your soul. My voice is real hoarse where I've been sick, and we've been in funerals, and that's the only time I've been to church, and it's because of that. And I apologize for that, but I can only preach. I can only say with the words that God gives me, Brother Delbert, and I can only express it in a certain way at certain times because of my voice. And I hope but I want you to listen to my words tonight, because I feel like right now, I feel like I can feel the Spirit of the Lord is on me, and I can feel like He's given me words that you need to hear. And I want you to understand something tonight, that God is a God of mercy and grace, and He loves you, and He wants you to talk to Him. He wants you to talk to Him. When your little girl Vernon called the other day and began to cry and talk to me, and I told her the same thing that I would tell any man or woman. Honey, you gotta pray. You gotta pray. She said, I'm so afraid of dying and going to hell. But what she don't realize is that's a good thing. You see, that's the way I was too. One time, I got afraid of going to sleep at night. I thought if I die, Jason, if I die, I wouldn't. If I woke up, it would be in a lake of fire. I was going to hell. Why? Because I didn't have Jesus in my heart. But it was a little while. The writer wrote, and I preached it a lot. I went about the city, and I inquired of Him. I began to inquire about Jesus. Where can I find Him? Where can I find Him? Dad preached 40-some years, Brother Delbert, and here I was, a young man. It didn't help me none, you see, but He was a light to me. Don't get me wrong, that was great, as your old dad was, but it didn't bring us salvation, Jason. Our fathers preaching the gospel didn't bring salvation to us, son. What brought salvation? Jesus Christ. And being down on my knees one night, the same man that told that Brother Randy spoke of, that said, come and follow me. I felt Him touch me one night. I felt Him call my name, and I heard Him say, follow me. And now I'm trying my best to follow Him, and I want men and women to come and go to heaven with me. Why? This world is full of heartaches. It's full of problems. It's full of troubles. But in Jesus, you'll find peace and love and joy. You know what I told you, little girl, Vernon? I said, all I can tell you is this. If you cry and you pray, there's going to be a peace come to you that you're going to come and tell me about it. There's going to be a peace come to you. You're going to feel it right down in your soul. I told her, I said, there's nights I lay down and I'm worried and troubled about things, but all at once I feel the sweetest peace come over me. Have you ever had that peace? Have you ever felt that peace? Oh, He said, peace I'll leave with you, my peace I'll give unto you. Not as the world has it, but I have it. Who is He? Jesus Christ. And when He comes down in your heart, you talk about a joyful time. You talk about a hallelujah time. I've had it in the Lord. Oh, the sweetest time I've had. It's been placing my hand in His hand a few years ago. the joy I've received while I sleep at night. He watches over me while I travel through this land. He watches over me. That don't mean I'm not exempt from trials and heartaches and troubles or death. But you see, what the world don't have that I have is when I leave this world, I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm going home. And that's worth it all. Is it, Brother Delbert? Peace, peace lives in my soul tonight. Peace, peace follows me everywhere I go. There's joy in serving them all wise. A mighty God, a God that parted the sea, a God that placed the stars in the sky. The same God called my name, Ron. I'm going home one day. I'm going home. And every man and every woman is invited to go. Is invited to go. You can't change your past. It's in the past. He's not worried about your past. He's worried about your future. Every man and every woman that's ever laid their hand in his hand will tell you, I wish I could go back and change a few things. He's not worried about that though. Today is the day of salvation. If you'll hear His voice and harden not your heart, that is the thing that you need to do. Listen to the voice of Jesus. Amen. You follow it, and it'll lead you, and all at once, you'll find that peace. Amen. You'll find that peace.
Pass up all understanding.
She said, Vernon, she said, I'm 30 years old, Jerry. She said, I miss the touch of my mother. And I said, honey, I'm 51. I miss the touch of my dad. I said, I'd love to go and put my arm around my dad again. I'd love to, you'd like to go and put your arm around that boy again with me one more time. That's something, you see. Jason back here lost a little boy, a twin, and one of them's here tonight. He'll tell you there's a void inside of you that you can't feel, you see. There's a heart we have a heart and it breaks sometimes. That's a natural love we have for one another. But I'm talking about a love that supersedes all love, that gives you peace of mind and peace of heart, a peace that the world don't understand. Don't understand. That little woman we went to up in Indiana, she belonged to the church a few years, but she got cancer. She beat it once and it came back. She said, before she died, she said, she started getting worried, Brother Jerry. Have I done enough? She said, I'm worried. Told her husband, I'm worried, honey. I'm worried. See, that's the way it is. It's all right maybe sometimes when you have strength. And when you're in full strength to say things and do things, but when you come down to die, you want that assurity in your heart. Brother Randy just said, lo, John the Baptist, the greatest preacher we read about, Jesus said, the greatest one, when he got ready to leave this world, you see, he got worried a little bit. He sent some of his men, didn't he, disciples. He had disciples too, didn't he? Some helpers, I would say, brethren. He said, go ask him again. Go ask him, is he the one? He wanted to make sure, Brother Jerry. There's nothing wrong with that. I told her husband, I said, there's nothing wrong with that. When you come down to die, we all want to make it as sure as we can. I'd tell you this, you need to make it as sure as you can. Amen. You need to make it as sure as you can, because it is real. Heaven is real, and so is hell. And hell is real. Amen. Two places are going to hold the whole Adam generation. One is heaven, and one is hell. I'm glad that I was like little Mary. I chose the good part that will never be taken away. Now I think a lot about the little woman that they brought to Christ that was caught right in adultery. Many would say today they probably wouldn't have her in the church for the jury. They wouldn't want her, you see. But what did Jesus do? He showed love. He showed compassion. But he told her, go and sin no more. Woman, where are your accusers? I have none, Lord. Neither do I accuse you. Go and sin no more. So that don't mean you can go and do it again and again and again. You can't do that and have Jesus in your heart. But you see, a little while later, if you read real close and study, I believe we find that little woman that was caught in adultery. You know where you find her at? You find her little home. She come down and she got right at Jesus' feet. Yes. And she began to weep and wash his feet with the tears from her eyes and dry them with the hair of her head. There was some men there, they recognized her, and they said if he knew who this woman was, he wouldn't let her be touching him like that. This woman is not a good woman. But oh, what they didn't know, she'd been to the Master's feet. She'd been to the Master's feet. Oh, she'd been made whole. She'd been made clean. I say it because it was so sweet. A lot of us witnessed it here. The little boy that was crippled here, running the stand, dragging his little feet, and said, I feel so clean inside. I feel Jesus has saved my soul. There's nothing more precious than having Jesus in your heart. I know I took too long probably, but I want you to understand heaven's real and heaven's worth striving for. I want you to know that I'd say to 2 as well as I say to 1,000, you got to repent. Yes. You got to be born again. Yes. If you don't understand what that is, it's pray, 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 pray. And when that sweet spirit comes in, that is the rebirth. All things is made new to you. The love you've never felt. If you don't have him, it's hard for you to imagine how sweet he is. But if you have him, to those that has him, knows what I'm talking about. When you lay down at night and say, oh Lord, if I don't wake in the morning, I know I'm going to wake in your arms. Yes. In your arms. As the brethren sing, the church door is open to receive members by experiencing baptism. If there's one here that feels like God has forgive them and wants this church to baptize them, we will. If there's one here that belongs to another church and they've already been baptized and they want to take their membership here, we'll take them gladly by recommendation. We love everybody. We want everybody to go.